Just waiting on everyone to come on board over here on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, aka Twitter, YouTube, all of my favorite platforms, and possibly your favorite platforms. Just jumping in very quickly here for day four, y'all. We made it. Day four. We still got some days left in the year, but this is day four in the Strategic Leadership Mastery series that I'm committing to going 61 days. I tell you, this bang is really bothering me. 61 days. We're going to be going live, sharing some tips, some tools, some things that I truly believe you need as a successful female CEO in her business so that we can, one, end this year with a bang and bring 2024, God willing, in with a bigger bang. Today, we are going to talk about something that I believe is something that's often, kind of left out a lot. We mention it periodically in different things, but we kind of push past it and don't really think about it often. And that is communications, or better yet, effective communications. We have to have that. So if you notice, I'm titling it here. If you're following me on those other platforms where you can see me on the screen with what's going across, day four, strategic leadership mastery. We're talking about connect and thrive, strategies for effective communications in your business, right? It's a must. It's a must. So we want to dive into why effective communications is the cornerstone of successful leadership. Because remember, as business owners, we're leading. So we need to be successful in that area. It's the key that truly, I believe, unlocks collaboration opportunities, aligns your teams, definitely, and it fosters that positive culture inside of your business and your organization. Your ability to communicate clearly and authentically will definitely shape the essence of your leadership. So let's do some reflection and, of course, some sharing. I always open you all up to, going ahead and participate down in the comment section on whatever platform you're joining me on. And I want to turn the lens within. I want you to look at yourself. And I want you to ask yourself the question and honestly answer this question. How intentional are you in your communication strategies? Did you know that you needed to be intentional with it? If you didn't, I'm telling you, you really need to. Are you actively seeking that feedback that you really need to be seeking so that you can know what it is that you need to maybe fix and work best at? Are you that type of business owner, that leader, that female CEO that thinks she's perfect and got it all together? So I'm over here looking at you on Instagram and over here in the other platform. These are questions that you need to ask yourself. Really. I mean, do you have the ability to communicate clearly? What are your weaknesses when it comes to that? Are you open to listening and hearing the cons? We love hearing those pros, but are you open to hearing the pros and the cons from the people that you work with that can show you how to best move forward in areas of communications, not only with them, but with your clients? This is really going to be important. So that's the question, that reflection. And I want you to share your answers to that in the comments, or, of course, over inside of the actual community, the Get Your Sass On community. If you would like to communicate and be over there with us and know how to get involved over there, feel free to definitely go to Get Your Sass On community. Let's talk strategies. Answer those questions. Answer the questions down here as well inside of the comment section wherever we are. Answer that question. How intentional are you in your communication strategies? Are you actively seeking that feedback? Because you need to. And here's the big one. Do you adjust your communications style, right, to resonate with different team members? Because each person is different. We know that we may have the rules, regulations, different things in our business that we like to stick by because it's part of our who we are, our standard operating procedures, our rules, and all of that. But do you recognize that people are still different, right? The people that you're talking to, that you can't put everybody in the same box. Do you have that skills that you can authentically shape things around for each person and adjust that communication style to resonate with different team members? These are things that you need to think about. And these are some things that you really, truly need to, in my opinion, reflect on. I'm not sure if you've been following me. I know for years I come on and I talk about my experiences back, I think, inside of the 31-day uh, time that I went live for 31 days more. I think it was Women's History Month. And I would share how my VA fired me. I didn't have to fire. It wasn't that my communications, meaning I wasn't nasty. I didn't have that kind of negative thing. But my communications was all over the place. I was expecting for her to just know where my mindset was, all these key things that were extremely important. And I needed to master that. I needed to learn that because that was a big pill for me to swallow because that VA, oh, she was good. And I just missed out on so many different things because I lacked the communication skill. I thought because she was a VA that she should automatically know what it was that my needs were in my business. Because after all, she said she's a VA, but she didn't know that part of it. Plus, I needed to get those SOPs, those standard operating procedures in place. There was things that I really needed to do in order for us to be able to move forward as people working together, as grown adults working together in an atmosphere, working together in my business. You see, it's different when you work for somebody else, right? Because you know they have their rules and regulations, and you kind of tend to step right into the rules. But when we're in our business because we can make our own rules, sometimes we forget about the importance of communications. And this is why this topic is important. And this is why it is a part of the Strategic Leadership Mastery Series, because effectively learning how to communicate is going to be key, honestly, to the success of your business. So, again, take that personal look at yourself. Recall specific instances where your communication approach made a, I guess, significant impact, right? Either positive or negative. I want you to challenge yourself to think about how that felt when you gained something good from having good communication skills, or unfortunately, when you lost, right? It's going to be really important for you to be able to move forth and deal with this in a professional atmosphere because those interactions are going to be key. Share your experiences. Again, I'm asking because this is a series. I want it to be proactive, right? So picture this. Let me give you a real world example. And I want you to picture some things as we go through the process, right? You know, I have a vivid experience, a thought process from my own journey. Okay. During a critical project, as I mentioned, with an awesome admin. She wasn't my junior admin, she was that VA type admin. And miscommunications led to big time confusion and delays. And I started pointing to her like she was the problem. Only but to find out that I was the big problem, right? The delays caused me to lose out in a major way with my clients, right? And then after I went through that process, I began to shift, right? And I began to look at some things that I needed to do differently. Because I'm a talker and I don't mind going live and being on video, I began to be a little bit more visible with different things as it pertains to recording my messages, the information that I needed her to have, or whomever, because at that point she had released me, right? But I learned a valuable lesson in that thing that caused me to make the shift, right? I began to collaborate differently with people that specialized more in the things that I did so that I found that I really didn't want to have to explain too much, but I knew I needed to explain enough but I needed the person to be a little bit more seasoned in my area of expertise, right? This alone brought upon very positive transformation in my business. That experience. Picture knowing that you got the bomb.com person, but you lacked communication skills. The person felt misinformed because you miscommunicated, AKA, you didn't communicate, right? It led to too many confusions, and I lost out for it. Picture what that would feel like for you in the midst of a major project, and you really didn't have time to lose that person. Do you think at that point that it was a time that you needed to do a checkup from the neck up to say, hey, this person isn't the problem, I'm the problem? Sometimes we have to admit to that. So, the key takeaway for me was that effective communications is not just about words. It's not just about words. It's about creating meaningful connections and understanding, having empathy, making sure that you are clear on the things, your goals, your vision, your dreams, the projects, the things that you need to have done and things that you have to need to take place. All of that is so important. This is why I always say write the vision and make it plain so them that see it can run with it. You need to see it first so that way you can thoroughly communicate with people, right? So remember, communications is not just about words. It truly is about creating that meaningful connection, clarity, understanding, making sure that everybody is on the same level, making sure that everybody is on the same page. Let me move that down because that's like all over my face. All right. Now, let's talk about some practical tips when it comes to enhancing your communication strategies. And I think they may seem simple to you, but trust me, although they're simple, so many of us kind of don't pay attention to it. As a good communicator, a leader who can communicate well, we all need to learn how to be active listeners. So, active listening is going to be extremely important as a successful business owner. It really, truly is. Okay. You got to cultivate the art of active listening so that you can truly understand your team's perspectives. I remember when I was in corporate, that was a big thing that I noticed that a lot of my managers lacked. And um, I learned very quickly, one, how to just kind of keep it to myself because I came from management and I recognized and realized, one, some of them were younger than me and they had this whole thought process because, they had it going on because they were in management, but they lacked communication skill and they didn't understand how important it was to cultivate good relationships. And they didn't understand the art of listening, how important it was. Because when you can listen to your staff, you can listen to your the people that are on your team, they are in most cases the gatekeepers. They are paying attention to a lot of what's going on while you're out there doing the other things. So it's important that you hone in on that skill because hopefully you got the right people on your team so they can help lead, guide, and direct you or tell you some of the things that you may need to know because you got blind spots up, right? And they're working through it on a consistent day-to-day basis. So again, the first practical tip is to get really, really, really intimate with the active listening skill. Okay. Now, there's going to be some things that I talk to you all about on a consistent day-to-day basis during these next 61 days where things are going to overlap. This next one, again, we touched on it yesterday, we touched on it the other days, and I'm going to go back to it again. Adaptability. It is what it is. We have to learn how to adapt to different things, different scenarios, different situations. Adjust your communications style based on your what? Your audience, whether it's your client, team member, stakeholder. You have to adjust. You got to know where you are. You got to recognize the environment that you're in. All right. Some days I may say, hey, what's up, girl? Other days it may be, how are you? right? It's not that I'm somebody who's different or I act one way or differently. You need to recognize and understand the environment that you're in. This is part of really honing in and elevating in your leadership skills. Recognize your environment and adapt accordingly to it. And don't care about what people think when they say you're phony, you're fake, you're different. You're just recognizing your environment. We all know how to behave and act when we're in different places, right? Same thing takes place as a business owner. Another practical tip that I really truly believe you need to deal with or hone in on is establish a way for you to s- gain feedback. Some people may not want to give you the feedback, or they may not want you to know that they said these things. Maybe put something in place where they can give it to you anonymously. And for those who are bold like me, I would put my name on it. I want you to know I said different things, but establish a feedback avenue, right? So that you can continuously improve your communications. You know, that's going to be extremely important. Extremely important that you do that, right? Now, I've got some things, as always, as we end the series for the day. I always leave you with some form of homework because it is what it is. We got to give you something to do so that way you can um, effectively make the necessary changes that I believe you should make as successful business owners. So, for homework, I want you to focus on a communication challenge. What's your challenge when it comes to communicating? We all got it. My challenge is when I'm speaking to someone and they're saying something to me and I know what they're saying. Sometimes I want them to finish because I just want to hurry up and share it with them. Sometimes we have to learn how to pause. I know I get it with my husband often. He tells me different things. He's talking to me and he's a good listener. I'll listen, but he'll say something and I'll just start talking. That's my challenge. I have to learn how to let people finish talking, take it all in, no matter how hard it is, let them finish before I say something. That's my challenge in communications. So we all have it. As business owners, I can get excited because I know that I know something and I want them to hurry up and finish talking so I can share it. But I've had to learn how to let people stand in their space and say what they have to say. Sometimes it's not important for me to have to say what I know, right? What's your challenge? Write it down. Literally, look at it. Focus on your communication challenge that you're having. Face it, right? Consider ways that you can incorporate ways that can help you get through that challenge, all right? I'm telling you, it's going to be helpful for you as a business owner. It really is. If you don't look at it, if you don't look at some positive reflection on it, it may just cause you to lose out in a great way. And we don't need you to lose out in that way, not as business owners. So, effective communications is going to be key as a strategic leader. We got to be strategic, right? But we have to know how to effectively communicate so that we can continue to grow in our business. Hey, Zoe, how are you? So, if you're just now joining me, my name is Danette Moss. I am your business systems and implementation strategist, AKA the strategy lady, over at one of my favorite places, which is letstalkstrategies.com. You can also follow me out on IG for my IGers that are here joining me. I'm known as the strategy lady on over on LinkedIn and Facebook and all of that. Let's Talk Strategies is my business name. Hey, follow me over there on my business page or Danette Moss. I'd love to stay connected with you all. We are going to be hanging out for 61 days straight. Guess what that date is? To the end of the year. I am committing myself, God willing, to be able to show up daily, with the exception of Saturdays as Sabbath. So it'll be later after Sabbath where I will come in and I will share some tools, some tips, or whatever it is that I truly believe I was given to share with you all to help you as that successful female CEO in business truly be more strategic in her business, right? Because we're going to master our leadership skills. And we are going to walk things out so that we can end this year, this 2023, in its most positive way, with a bang, in a good way. And of course, bring in 2024 even more, in a prosperous way, right? All right, y'all. Thanks so much for joining me. This is a short one today, again, because I'm preparing for Sabbath and wanted to make sure that I came out, recall some things. Okay. Those practical tips are going to be important for you. 3 practical tips for you to have the success that I know you desire to have as a successful female CEO, consultant, coach, or service professional, service provider, whatever you want to call yourself, as long as it's positive, right? As it pertains to connecting and thriving, the strategies for effective communications in business, 3 practical tips, active listening. Okay. Cultivate the art of active listening so that you can what? Truly understand your team's perspectives and your clients and your prospective clients, their perspectives. Okay. The practical tip number 2 is adaptability. It's going to be coming up a whole lot in just about everything that I touch on. Adjust your communication skills, y'all, based on the audience that you're around. That's not fake and phony. It's just recognizing your environment. Whether, again, it's your client, it's your team, or your stakeholders. You got to pay attention to that. And the practical tip number 3 is put some type of feedback loop, some type of feedback system in place for people who don't mind. You can survey them, you can put a box out, you can ask them to fill information out and to give you positive and, unfortunately, some of the negative feedback that you may need to hear so that you can make those necessary adjustments. And be okay with allowing some people to give it to you anonymously, because sometimes people are afraid to tell you some things. I mean, it is what it is, because they feel that you're going to take it in a negative way. But this is going to help you as you continue the path of growing a successful business. I'm all about sustainability. I'm all about business growth. And during these 61 days, we're going to be addressing things that can really help us literally take our business from overwhelm, okay, to putting it on rinse and repeat. This is Danette Moss, business systems and your implementation strategist, aka the strategy lady, over at letstalkstrategies.com, home of the SaaS Factor, where I work with overwhelmed female CEOs to go from, of course, from overwhelmed in their business to putting it on rinse and repeat. If you're wondering what SaaS stands for, it stands for simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline in the business. I'm all about automation, but I'm all about simplifying, because did you know we can automate chaos? But as we go through these processes, we're going to shake a whole lot of stuff up, so you all won't have to worry about it. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you join me again on tomorrow. It'll be after 6. It'll be after Sabbath is over with tomorrow. And then Sunday through Friday will be to 6 o'clock. Saturday is the only day that I'll be coming on late, because I've got some other good information that I am going to be sharing with you all. You don't want to miss it. Please make sure that you go over and join the Get Your Sass On community. There's a link here. If you're not watching, if you're on IG, I should have pinned it up here. You can actually go to Get Your Sass On. It's going to be GYSO community. I'm typing it in here for them. .letstalkstrategies.com. Yes, I'm all about branding myself, as you can see, right? All about branding myself. Go over to GYSO community.letstalkstrategies.com and become a part of the community. Literally, become a part of the community, so that way you can stay abreast of what's going on. We're going to be dropping some things in there so that you can work on each of the day's tasks, look at the questions, recall some things, and walk away with some things that can help you, again, take your life and your business to the next level. All right, you all take care. Thanks again for joining me.